many secrets have been revealed that will change Fortnite forever. From new POIs that are going to get absolutely obliterated to finally understanding how the Imagined Order controls the loop, let's kick it off with the Coral Castle secret. One of the most unhelpful POIs in the history of Fortnite is that of Coral Castle, but we know from leaks that Coral is finally going to get destroyed in Season 7. I've been waiting for over a year for this awful POI to go, and it looks like it's finally going to happen, and Epic aren't just going to delete this thing overnight either. This is where the storyline kicks in. Now, they could just remove Coral and call it a day, and yeah, we'd all be pretty happy with that alone, but Epic are gonna take this thing one step further. A new leak tells us that when Coral gets destroyed, it will leave a huge crater where it once stood. But eventually, this crater will actually be taken over by the Imagined Order, and it will become a new POI for them. Maybe it'll be another surface hub or a huge new IO headquarters on the map. Coral Castle has a lot of room to work with, and this could be huge. And that's not all, because a scout is going to be spying on the Imagined Order from a distance while disguising as a human. And if you talk to them, they'll say very suspicious things like, "Hello, my fellow perfectly normal human being." The guy's going to be hilarious to talk to, and you'll even be able to break his cover and force him to turn back into an alien. But from an unreleased POI to the most famous one of all time, we have the Tilted Tower secret. If you've paid attention to Season 7's loading screens, or even just booted up Fortnite in the last 2 weeks, then you've seen this image. It's the main image for the season, and just like every season image before, it has everything you need to know about Season 7 there and then, and that includes upcoming features. In the past, season images like Chapter 2 Season 2 or Chapter 1 Season 8 have had unreleased weapons and skins just sitting there in plain sight. And this time around, it's more in plain sight than anyone has even realized. A lot of people have overlooked the fact that the OG Tilted Towers is literally in this image. I mean, every building in the loading screen is from the original Tilted layout, which could confirm that we'll get it back in Season 7. I mean, why else would they do it? But this next secret is something that has honestly blown my mind. Just wait until you see the Rick and Morty secret. So Season 7 is stacked with content, but let's just rewind time a second. Let's take it all the way back to Season 4, the Galactus event. When Galactus invaded the island and immediately discovered the zero point underneath the agency's ruins, Tony Stark had a plan. He was gonna mess with reality and help us defeat Galactus, but as he is enacting his plan, Stark says something really interesting that almost no one noticed.
Beginning transport now. And away we go.
Yeah, if you watch Rick and Morty, you probably just registered exactly what happened there, and yes, mind is blown. If you haven't watched the show, though, one of Rick's catchphrases, "and away we go." So honestly, this is the coolest way I've ever seen Fortnite foreshadow a collab. No one noticed this, I'm shocked. We're gonna have to start analyzing every live event in detail from now on. But speaking of live events, there's one around the corner, so let's talk about it with our live event theory. So yes, there will be a live event in Season 7, it's a given. We're not just speculating either. Epic is already teasing exactly what's gonna happen in this live event, and maybe where it could happen. If you head down to one of the Imagined Order's underground complexes, you can see a ton of secret screens with all kinds of things on them. We're more interested in a few screens that tell us everything about what the Imagined Order is up to. These screens actually show plans for a bomb, and it makes complete sense. And if you consider the fact that the aliens are actually returning to the island as we speak, then you could already guess where this bomb is gonna go. It seems extremely likely at this point that the live event will be Slow meeting the Imagined Order against the mothership and taking back the zero point. And once they've taken it, well, they're gonna blow the ship to shreds. It's our safest bet for exactly what will happen in the season's live event, but I'm sure Epic will add their own twist to it, like the return of the Foundation, maybe. There are also secret posters around Believers Beach right now that actually hint at a welcome party for when the mothership arrives. And for all we know, this could be a mini live event before the one at the end of Season 7. Maybe a concert, I guess we'll see. And while the storyline is super exciting, a lot of it has been happening behind the scenes, and recently we learned something incredible. So here's the zero point, the loop, and the rift gun all explained. So while all of this crazy alien stuff has been happening on the island, the actual meat of the Fortnite storyline has been hidden away in Fortnite's official Zero Point comic, and the latest issue just dropped, and man, it explains a lot. Donald Mustard has finally revealed to us not only how the loop works, but also what the Zero Point actually is, as well as why John Jones' rift gun was super important. It gets juicy. So Batman and the gang find the Zero Point in the latest issue of the comic, and it's in the same room that John Jones used in Season 5's opening trailer. This is where he explains exactly what the Zero Point is. He claims that the Zero Point wasn't created by the IO, but is being used by them, and then says it cycles through countless realities per second, probably why it's so unstable. They find out that the Imagined Order controls the Zero Point through these dark panels, and they tell the Zero Point to become a portal to another reality. And that's exactly what Jones was doing in Season 5's trailer when he was putting in those coordinates and firing the orb of energy into the 0 point. Not just that, but we learned that the Imagined Order uses the 0 point's energy to create and control the loop. We all once thought that the loop was just a side effect of being near the 0 point, but it's actually just a way for the Imagined Order to maintain control of the island. We still don't know why, but it's interesting. And at the end of the latest comic, spoiler alert, Deathstroke is revealed as a traitor working for the IO, and to escape back to his reality, he uses something extremely familiar. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of fanboyed when I saw Deathstroke pull out John Jones's rift gun. And it gets even better because he explains how it works. According to Deathstroke, the rift gun works like a compass, and it tells the 0 point to open a portal to a specific reality. And while we already kind of knew this, it's so awesome to see it confirmed and in writing. Now looking back on Season 5, it makes so much more sense. It's so cool to look back and know that your theories were right. But something no one even suspected was also revealed in the comics, and it's the bunkers in Fortnite explained. So one of the longest running secrets in Fortnite's history has been that of the bunkers. They showed up out of nowhere in the early days of Battle Royale, and the amount of secret bunker videos have been countless over the years. And after years of speculation, Epic has finally explained what the heck is in these bunkers. It's an age-old mystery, and it's also a pretty obvious answer. Turns out that these bunkers are one-way doors onto the island. Basically, the Imagined Order used to use these bunkers to get onto the island without letting anyone else escape through them. Nowadays, the IO is super modern, and they have things like elevators that come out of the ground in secret complexes right under POIs. But this means that the Imagined Order have been in front of us this whole time. It may be disappointing to some people that the bunkers were just access to the IO this entire time, but it makes so much sense, and it actually has one of the coolest answers we have finally got. Not to mention, but there's also really weird stone golems in there protecting the base. How sick is that? Now there's only one secret left to answer. What is in this redacted bunker? That has to be bigger than just a secret backdoor into the IO's complex. I hope we get an answer soon. But answers for literally everything are dropping all over the place, and one of the coolest secret pieces of storyline revealed this season was that of young Midas. So Midas has been one of the most important characters of Chapter 2, even if we haven't seen much of him for the last 5 seasons. And it looks like he's even more important than any of us ever imagined. If you go to Corny Complex and visit Dr. Sloan's personal office inside of the IO base, you can see a very interesting photo on her wall. It's a young Sloan presenting equations to a class. And in the audience, you can see the back of a young Midas too. This is a huge piece of info, and it tells us that Midas wasn't some random billionaire who just wanted to cause chaos. He's an ex-member of the Imagined Order. This would explain how he came to the island out of nowhere with all the knowledge of the loop, and it would also explain why him and Jules are such good engineers. They were probably engineers for the IO and helped create the loop in the first place. I mean, I'm getting excited just talking about this. It's a huge piece of lore hidden inside something as small as a photo in an office. But I mean, I guess then again, we've been there before. And while we found out for ourselves that Midas is important, Donald Mustard himself has given us a direct storyline hint for probably the first time ever. It's time we talk about the Singularity secret. So Midas being in this photo was awesome, but if you actually look closer, you can spot someone else in the audience. Someone who we haven't seen in a couple years. Singularity. And I'm not surprised that Singularity is in the Imagined Order. I mean, she was literally just sitting at a desk guarding the 0 point in Season 9. And while it's awesome to see her with Midas and Sloan here, we're also bringing up Singularity for another reason. A much bigger reason. Check this out.
I drew who you guys know one of her names as the Singularity. This is a super important character. And I can't wait for you to see a bunch of the cool stuff that will be happening with her over the next couple of years. So I hope you enjoy the issues.
There it is. From the mouth of the storyline man himself, Donnie Mustard, he confirms that Singularity is one of the most important characters to Fortnite's storyline, and that we'll see much more of her over the next few years. He said years. That's how far in advance Fortnite is being planned. It's super cool. But for our final, and honestly one of the coolest secrets of Season 7 storyline, we have the steamy spaceship secret. This was really cool, and honestly all props to PlayStation Grenade for discovering this. Just wait until you hear about what's going on at Steamy Stacks. It's been pretty much entirely untouched since Chapter 2 began until now. In the story trailer for Season 7, you can see a quick glimpse of a UFO in a cave, and people have figured out that this is actually underneath Steamy Stacks. On one of the Imagined Order secret screens, you can also see a UFO located at Steamy Stacks on the map, so it checks out. But here's where things get juicy. Sure, it might have just been a cool addition for the trailer, but when Season 7 dropped, leakers got their hands on a map with names of every single thing on the island. And just take a look at what it says at Steamy Stacks. So it definitely looks like Steamy is either about to get replaced by a crashed UFO, or it's been taking power from the spaceship all along.